All right, guys. The Utah Jazz win again. I believe they are now 24-24. Let's just double check. Yes, they are 500. They are literally right in the middle. They've got to make a decision, but tonight they were amazing. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd post-game show. Guys, before we get into this, let's just give a shout out to our sponsor, Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com and use promo code HoopsNerd, and they will match up to $100 of your first deposit. That's free money. You put in $10, they will match it with $10, but only if you use promo code HoopsNerd. So go there and use it, guys. It supports the channel. It supports me. I would appreciate it. All right, let's talk about this. The Utah Jazz played the Los Angeles Clippers, who were playing without Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Sometimes I wonder if Kawhi Leonard even likes basketball that much. But, you know, we'll see. He has been playing more lately and has at times been playing really well. But for the Jazz, they were lucky he did not play tonight, mostly because it's a back end of a back-to-back on the road in Utah. So, and Paul George didn't want to be here either. Well, whatever. That made things a little easier for the Jazz. My glasses are dirty. That made things easier for the Jazz. And especially for one Lauri Markkanen. But let's talk about the Clippers. The big thing with the Clippers, and there is some connections with the Jazz, they have been in trade rumors. And according to big time sources on Twitter, you know, the Wojs and the Shams and the ShamWows and the Jake Fishermans and all of those things out there, they're saying that the Clippers are interested in Mike Conley. Well, guess what? Danny Ainge is really willing to make a trade, I'm sure. It's just going to take a certain cost. And the thing that Danny Ainge does is he sets a certain amount. And so if this Clippers team wants Mike Conley, I'm sure they can get him. They just have to meet the price. And my guess is it's probably a first-round pick. The only thing with Conley is his contract's pretty big. It's like 20 plus million. It's actually like 22. I can't remember exactly, but it is like bigger than you think. So not exactly easy. So we'll see if that can happen. But if you look at this team, I mean, if they want Mike Conley, you're probably getting Reggie Jackson back and perhaps Robert Covington. I don't know. Something like that. And then you have Mike Conley join, these different guys, Terrence Mann and obviously Kawhi and Paul George and whatever. So fantastic. It's interesting to see, but this Clippers team, I mean, talk about Prize Picks. I got the easy over with Kessler. He is going to help people on Prize Picks every game. He's unbelievable. I picked Norman Powell on the under, and I was an idiot. I was stupid because Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were out, and of course, here's what you can bet. when I make a selection, he's going to shoot pretty well. And tonight he did 7 for 9. So I was annoyed. But anyways, it was still fun. But anyways, Norman Powell goes 7 for 9 from 3, 30 points. He was just incredible. And actually, one of the things I noticed is, you know, when you're doing Prize Picks and you're watching a certain player for certain things, and you're watching Norman Powell and rooting against him, you notice who's guarding him. And I will say, Ochai Agbaji had some really nice moments tonight, but Norman Powell kind of gave him some learning experiences because he was absolutely awesome. Norman Powell is really nice for this team, just watching him tonight. And if they can get Kawhi Leonard and Paul George healthy, if they can trade for Mike Conley, I don't know why this team can't still be a contender, to be honest. I don't know. Because I think Mike Conley is a perfect fit for what they do. And he doesn't even have to play more than like 20 minutes. Because if you can keep Terrence Mann and you can have your 5-man lineup with Batum, Morris, Kawhi, Paul George, and then if they want to go small, they can play, you know, who knows, Robert Covington or something like that. Who knows? But this is a team that can still be really versatile and score. It's just the age is starting to really catch up. And who'd have thunk that at this point in the season, the Jazz would have a better record than the Los Angeles Clippers. It's crazy. 23-24, Utah 24-24. It's crazy. But anyways, that's all I really got to say with the Clippers. Without Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, there's not really much else to say. They are the the spoon that stirs that drink. And so, you just, once they get back, we'll see. But the other issue with the Clippers is they don't play. They just don't play all that often, and they rest a ton. And it's just hard to be all in with the Clippers in the playoffs if those guys don't play. And I'm sure they will in the playoffs, and I'm sure Kawhi will take it to another level. And we shouldn't be surprised if the Clippers, are amazing. But the thing is that the Clippers, they have to make the playoffs. Right now they're sitting in the 8th seed. And at some point, they've got to figure out how to climb up here. And it's not going to get any easier. The Kings are good. Dallas has Luka. Golden State has Steph, and they haven't been playing well. They're going to play better. Utah probably drops. So my guess is the Clippers probably end this around this range. They'd probably prefer to be in the 6, but, who's dropping? At this point, there's like 35 games left. You have to figure out what you want to do. And I think a lot of teams, and I think that's why a lot of rumors happened this week, is a lot of teams are just saying, you know what, we got 35 games left. What are we doing? What's our goal? Utah's played really well tonight, but they're 500. And so the Jazz have a decision to make as well, because they're right at a crossroads. They could be at the level here and drop below these teams that are going to try to win, or they can try to make it further. I guess that's up to them to decide. All right, let's talk about the Utah Jazz. The name of the game for the Utah Jazz is Lauri Markkanen, who was incredible tonight. 34 points, 11 for 20 from the field, 6 for 8 from 3. So, he just absolutely dominated this game. 12 rebounds, 0 turnovers, too, by the way, as the lead scorer. These are just going to pop off so big on the advanced stats. There is just no way he doesn't make the All-Star team. It's just incredible what he's doing. I think there is even a debate, like, would you trade back for Mitchell? I don't know. Because when you consider how big Lauri Markkanen is at his position and his size and what he's doing, and he might get a little better. Woo. It is really, really interesting what's going on with the Jazz. And then, and let's just go through the line. This is what we do. If you're new here, this is what we do. Malik Beasley, he's been in about every single Jazz trade rumor there is. I would not be surprised if he's in a different uniform after February 9th or sometime before then. Who knows? But he is a high... there is a lot of interest in Malik Beasley. A lot of teams want him. And why? Because he does this. He just shoots flames out of his hands when he's shooting the ball. 5 for 12 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3. This is good to see. He's actually been slumping lately. So to see him do this, and I guess we shouldn't be too surprised if Markkanen's on the floor. That's going to open things up for everyone else. Superstar stuff for Markkanen. Just another reason why Markkanen is just, woo, the crush grows stronger. But anyways, Malik Beasley is just someone you can plug in with any team, and he can come off the bench. I believe he started tonight. I'm not completely sure. I can't remember, but they have the starters here. But anyways, he can come off the bench for anyone and absolutely shoot the threads off the basketball. He is unbelievable shooter, and he shoots in so many different ways. He can shoot, catch and shoot. He can pull up and hit the three. He can shoot in motion. There are so many things he does well. Just as far as a shooter, he's about as good as they come. Probably one of the most underrated shooters in the league, to be honest. You don't hear about Malik Beasley with, all the other great shooters in the league. But I'd rather have Malik Beasley than maybe like Buddy Hield or someone like that, who's also considered a great shooter. Like Malik Beasley is just as good, it might be cheaper. So actually, I don't know that for a fact. If someone wants to look that up. Walker Kessler, 6 for 9 from the field. Very nice field goal percentage. 13 points, 11 rebounds. All he does is just dominate inside now. He is getting better every single game. And some of these shots they were not easy shots. He's hitting shots on the run. Obviously, some of them are dunks. He's taking hook shots now. And if he can start locking down that hook shot, and he's got soft hands, there's no reason to believe he can't. He might be kind of what does he look like in 2-3 years? If you can just throw him the ball inside, if he's got a bad defender on him, just hook it in, Really exciting stuff. That's like playoff stuff, because guess what? It's funny. This Clippers team, who we know basically crushed that last era of the Utah Jazz, it really came down to this Clippers team, ironically, destroying the hopes of all Jazz fans the last 2 years. Walker Kessler, they were not able to play a 5-out offense or a 5-out offense against the Jazz like they did before and take the lead. Why? Because Walker Kessler can score on them. They can't just put Terrence Mann on Walker Kessler or Reggie Jackson or Amir, any of these smaller players. Norman Powell can't guard Walker Kessler. Why? Because he'll just put it in. He'll just dunk on him, or he's got soft touch. He will lay it in. And we saw that tonight. And so this is massive. Massive. And I know we've seen from the beginning of this season, and Kessler likely is probably coming off the bench once Kelly Olynyk comes back, because I think the Jazz are interested in a 5-out offense, although Walker Kessler might have earned this starting role. When Kelly Olynyk comes back, we probably see Vanderbilt continue to come off the bench. And we'll probably see Walker Kessler with Lauri Markkanen and Kelly Olynyk so they can have a spread floor. And then, the guard lineup. It's just, you can just see it. You can see it. You can see it. You can see the future. Can you see the future? I can see it. We can all see it. This right here is an incredible cornerstone to build around. Markkanen and Kessler. And Markkanen's not old. I mean, what, 25 at most? 25. So he's got 4 or 5 years of great basketball ahead of him. Walker Kessler is a rookie. And so if you can go get us, they have developed these guys to the point where next season they are going to be really good. And that's going to be really interesting next year because the Jazz don't get their first round pick, their own first round pick, unless it's in the bottom 10. And I just don't think it's going to be a really weird year too, because I don't know. So it's why I think I really have a hard time predicting anything other than the Jazz absolutely clearing house, so that now when they trade those guys, they bring back whoever, and then they go into the draft, they pick up 3 rookies, and then those rookies, along with Ochai, Walker Kessler, Lauri Markkanen, are playing a lot of minutes. And maybe you keep Jordan Clarkson to kind of be that, whether he's a 6th man or you start him or whatever, can be a veteran presence and help those guys. But either way, the Jazz have got some really interesting decisions to make because they're 24-24. They are not a bad basketball team, but if you trade enough vets, then they're a team that will lose enough games that can help you get a top 6 to 8 pick. And then next year, you're just going for it because you've got the picks, you've got the guys you need, and you can start really doing some cool things. But man, you can just see it with Kessler. They are going to try to do 5-out offense stuff. And so it's interesting to watch Kessler play and earn minutes, despite the fact that the Jazz don't always want to play that style with just a rolling big. That's the thing, is Kessler is doing so many more things on offense and is so much more dynamic offensively than Rudy Gobert was. It makes it so you don't have, that makes it that he can play against these 5-out offenses. And the Jazz defense is still really bad. It's still not good. And so that's part of why you've also got to get young athletic talent in the draft. But man, Walker Kessler is a cornerstone of that future defense. Lauri Markkanen brings a ton of size and versatility. You can either play him at the small forward, you can play him at the power forward, which makes just him more versatile. I don't think we're going to ever see him at the center, but it doesn't matter because you've got Walker Kessler. And then maybe in this draft, you get another versatile 6'10", 6'11" guy, GG Jackson or someone like that. If the Jazz can just get to the top 8, they can get a 6'10", 6'11" guy. So look at this. Right now, the Jazz are at 16, but they share the same amount of losses. They're right there. They're right there. And if they can get a top 8 guy and get a future cornerstone wing that can help defend alongside Markkanen and Kessler, and then in the offseason, you just build your team around their strengths with good contracts. In fact, let's just go all in. I was tired. My head hurt. I'm all in tonight. Let's just go for it. But anyways, Jordan Clarkson, do we need to talk about it? He had a really nice night, actually. And part of the reason the Jazz did so well is the Clippers were on a back-to-back. They were exhausted. No Kawhi, no Paul George. So everything that happened tonight is a little bit of grain of salt. But anyways, either way, you still need to beat the bad teams if you want to be a good basketball team. Jordan Clarkson does well. Mike Conley, again, has a nice night. 17 points. And by the way, against the team that's interested in trading for him. Pretty good audition for Mike Conley tonight, right? 17 points, 9 assists. That's incredible. that's helping things out. And you trade him to the Clippers and you trade him for a bag of chips, but an unprotected first-round pick, then you are in great shape. And then, yes, Colin Sexton had a few little struggles tonight shooting the ball. Typically, his percentages are much better than this. But 11 points, and I guess that's... I think I already mentioned it, but Ochai Agbaji shows so many cool flashes. He's showing the signs of a rookie who's going to be a rotation player in the NBA, basically, because he makes athletic plays multiple times a game. Will Hardy is allowing him to play through his mistakes, and he made some mistakes tonight. I mean, cost me my prize picks tonight, basically. Norman Powell roasted him. A lot of this was being guarded by Ochai, and he's going to learn how. And also, sometimes playing a young player like Ochai Agbaji helps someone like Will Hardy know how to play him in the future. If you don't ever play him, if you don't know his weaknesses but also see his strengths, then how do you know how to play him in the future? You know, Ochai might not be the best guy to just ISO against someone like Norman Powell. Who knows? Or maybe he can learn and develop and do that. But tonight it was a struggle. At the same time, he showed incredible flashes. Like Jared Vanderbilt said, the Ochai block was unreal. So he's fitting the mold of the future of this Jazz team. Long, athletic, young, can shoot the three, does a lot of things. He cuts to the rim. We saw multiple cuts from Ochai, and he just needs to build confidence. I can't remember who, I think it was like Thurl or who it was that was talking about how Walker Kessler knows he belongs. And Lauri Markkanen knows he's an all-star, and you see that confidence with those guys. I don't know if Ochai Agbaji really believes he's an NBA player yet. Eventually, he's going to start figuring it out. He's going to figure out what he does well. He's going to figure out what he does not well. And he's going to improve on what he does well. And he's going to work and figure out how to mitigate or improve on what he doesn't do well, right? That's what all rookies have to do. And if they're able to do that, then you stay in the league. If you do not, you do not. Because guess what? The Utah Jazz are bringing in 3 picks next draft. And who knows what happens in the offseason with trades and whatever. You don't improve, the timeline in the NBA can be very short. And it's few and far between the guys that figure it out later on in their career who weren't, guys with huge ceilings. I mean, talk to Lauri Markkanen. He was getting close to being... I mean, honestly, if he didn't figure out this year, he might not have been in the league. But luckily he did. He made a complete bump, and just great trade for the Jazz. Absolutely unbelievable. Both the Donovan Mitchell trade and the Rudy Gobert trade, it cannot be said enough how incredible those were. Absolutely incredible trades for the Utah. But anyways, let's talk about this. What was I? Okay, so you look at this right here, and I'm not expecting to win Wembanyama. If we win Wembanyama, then we're winning a title. Honestly, if this Jazz team with this core somehow got lucky and got Wembanyama, you're winning the title, and probably in 2 years. Probably 2 years. Get Wembanyama a year to develop, give Kessler another year to figure out defensively, and then you draft whoever else you draft, or you go out and you use your picks to go get a star, and you win a title in 2 years. 2 years. That's all it'll take if you win Wembanyama. But I'm not saying the Jazz are going to win Wembanyama. But they could, but they've got to make some decisions today. But let's look at the draft. Look at this. So obviously 1 and 2 is pretty clear. And if the Jazz get Scoot Henderson, that's also incredible. Could you imagine putting Scoot Henderson with Will Hardy and this spread offense and him being able to either throw lobs to Kessler? Oh my gosh. I don't even like to think about it because it makes my heart flutter. Amen Thompson. This guy is Vince Carter. He's Vince Carter. Unbelievable. That's if you win the lottery. Brandon Miller looks like a more athletic Klay Thompson. He's unbelievable. He's 6'9" too. By the way, this is the guy that's rising in the draft. And you guys, this guy can absolutely light it up. I mean, this is the type of guy that if let's say he falls, because Brandon Miller is he's one of those guys that some people just adore him. And then some people are like, if this guy falls to 7, incredible. Asar Thompson is an identical twin to Amen. And what's crazy is he's just as athletic, maybe not quite the ball handler that Amen Thompson is. That's why Amen's getting the nod there. But man, he can absolutely jump out of the gym. and you put this guy 6'7" next to Lauri Markkanen and allow him to just dive and dunk and just grow as a defender. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Nick Smith Jr. This guy, to me, is really interesting. Guys, this draft is crazy. Nick Smith is not as explosive as an athlete as Scoot. That's why Scoot gets the nod. But man, this guy looks like a future all-star point guard. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he has the upside, but he literally does everything. And he is one of the smoothest playmakers. I mean, I've seen kind of in a draft in a while. He looks like he's going to go on like if he goes on this Jazz team and it's his size, he's perfect. I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a Danny Ainge guy because he literally does everything. He passes it with smoothness. I mean, honestly, like, have you ever had just the creamiest ice cream and it's just so like the perfect temperature and it's just got the perfect drizzle of caramel and chocolate and some nice little bits of chocolate chips and brownie in there and you just, oh man, that is like Nick Smith's game. It is so smooth. It is so good. And he's athletic. The guy will dunk on you. You know, he's not the Scoot Henderson, like just absolutely Ja Morant wreck you athleticism, but it's like a smooth, functional athleticism. And man, he will absolutely make everyone else on the floor better. That's why if you can get like, that's why, guys, that's why you have to figure this out. Because if you get a top 6, you're great. And guess what? Cam Whitmore's dropping. Cam Whitmore is not even in this top 6. He is at number 9. So if you get a 7, most likely you're getting Cam Whitmore. By the way, GG Jackson will likely, I don't know why they haven't caught on to him yet. He's going to be probably right here. Go look up at GG Jackson. It's going to take, the only thing with him is it's going to take a little bit of time for him to figure it out. But man, at 6'9", what he's doing, my goodness. Ugh. So anyways, that's basically the moral of the story tonight. You have just an absolute incredible couple of core pieces in Markkanen and Kessler. And if you can add to them with this pick, because you don't have your pick next year. You don't have it. The Jazz do not have their pick next year. So basically, it's a wasted season if you do not go get it. Next year, sure, you can go get some free agents. Maybe you go get some picks, and you're just kind of, maybe next year is the year you tank, if everything falls through this year. But man, it would be so much better if you could get that top 8 guy, and if you could go get Nick Smith Jr. and pair him with Lauri, and then you go next year. And then you start letting the other picks come in because that's when they're going to start happening. After next year is when we start having real pick heaven. And yes, maybe the Wolves pick will drop. Let's see, where is the Wolves pick at right now? They have been winning more lately. Yeah, Minnesota's about the 12. You're not probably winning, but guess what? If you get another stud in this lottery, 12 gets you Cason Wallace, who kind of looks a little like, if everything worked out perfectly, Cason Wallace looks a little like Drew Holiday. That's super high praise. That is like best case scenario. Okay. But he has a little bit of that. And look at this, 2.4 steals per game. Woo. That's some little Drew Holiday. The thing is he's not this huge monster athlete, but he's like big and he's built and you can tell he's strong and he reminds me of Drew Holiday tiny bit. That's huge praise because Drew Holiday is one of the best guard defenders we've ever seen. So I don't know if that's what he'll be, but that's kind of the ceiling. So if he's at 12, oh my gosh, guys. But anyways, you've got to get to the top 8. You've got to. I don't want Grady Dick, okay? I don't want to be writing Grady Dick. I don't want to be saying Grady Dick every night on this show, okay? Please don't draft Grady Dick. I just don't want to be saying that every night, okay? I feel like I've said it already too many times. All right. Oh, this broke. But anyways, that face. Anyways, I think that's all I've got to say tonight. I'm just really excited about this Jazz talent. It's unbelievable what has happened with the trade. No one knew Lauri Markkanen would be this good. And I guess that's one thing to end on tonight before we do the mock and before we do the shout outs. But I'm going to say, oh, I forgot. Oh, no. Remember how worried everyone was about having a an all-star last offseason, that's why we would need to keep Donovan Mitchell. That's literally why some people were online on Twitter, where the worst opinions in the world are housed. But literally people were saying, I want to keep Donovan Mitchell so we can have an all-star. That was the line the Jazz were saying. And maybe that was probably likely just a line to like build some leverage. So maybe it worked. But guess what? They were worried about it. And now we have the All-Star game in Salt Lake City, and Lauri Markkanen is going to be an all-star. Going to be an all-star. According to Zach Lowe, he's a lock. And honestly, when you look at the numbers, it's incredible. It's out of this world. And these don't even include tonight. He's going to be up to 25 points per game after tonight, maybe. 8.7. He's getting up to like close to like 10 rebounds a game. This is just incredible. And these are just the raw stats. Look at this. 52, 42, 87. He is going for a 50, 40, 90 season. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what he's doing. This is incredible. If he gets a 50, 40, 90, I mean, I don't know how he's not the most improved player, to be honest. It's just remarkable. Look at just even from the minutes, the points. Look at this. His most was 18. He's up to 24. Field goal percentage, he's never been above 48. He's now 52. Are you kidding me? 42% is his best career shooting percentage. If anyone ever says to you, Will Hardy's not a good coach, you have my permission to, well, don't punch him in the face, but maybe go like, or like a or something like that, or like a or a because that's ridiculous talk. That's moronic talk. Will Hardy is incredible, and what he's done to empower Walker Kessler, the things he's done to kind of revive Mike Conley, who was looking kind of washed last season, and he looks like a whole new player again. 17-9 tonight. And let's not even forget about how much, the 4 assists a night for Jordan Clarkson. They used to not guard anyone else when Clarkson had the ball. Honestly, last season, if Clarkson had the ball last season, what was the name of the game? It was, well, just double him, because he's not going to pass the ball or it's going to be a bad pass. Well, with this Jazz team, it moves, and he does a good job, and now it's helping his percentages. And he does, look at this, 45-40. It's fantastic. Unbelievable. I am such a big fan of Will Hardy. Now he needs to stop winning so many freaking games with this team that wasn't expected to win more than like 23. And we already did that tonight. They already hit I think they broke the Vegas over tonight. I think that was like literally 23 was for the season. They've already done it. So freaking Will Hardy, who knew? I mean, I knew had a chance to be awesome. I didn't know he'd be just like this awesome, this fast. He's too freaking good. He's too good. And this team too. Shout out to all the players who improved. All right, guys. That's all I got. Fun night tonight, though. And hope you guys all enjoyed that Lauri Markkanen dunk. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. The Jazz have won too many games. It's driving me crazy. But they don't even have a lottery pick now as of tonight. But we do have one in Minnesota. So that means we are going to do our Tankathon mock. All right, let's go. Let's see what we get. We've had Scoot twice in the last 4 shows. The luck has been with us. Let us see. Oklahoma City jumps 11 spots. Gets the number 2 pick in Scoot Henderson. Could you imagine that? Breaks my heart. But the Jazz drop. Oh my gosh. They jumped from like 14. Anyways, the Jazz get number 13. They miss out on Case and Wallace and with Anthony Black in Arkansas. I don't know. Shooting guard, small forward, but 6'7", nice size. So I haven't watched him. I'll have to watch some Anthony Black. Why not? We'll have to watch it. All right, guys. It's time to give a shout out to our All-Stars tonight. These are the guys and girls that make it happen. You guys are the best, and I appreciate you every day of the week. You guys are amazing. All right, let's give it a shout out to see Alexa Later, Bill Fort Tuff, Alexander Tufts, Jared Chanderville, Shad Therick, Jorge Arrizaga, mi amigo de abajo, Baby Elliott Matson, Jordan the Goat Besserell, Just Buckets, JB, Zap Watts, TGD, Total Game Domination, Christian House, Money to Haas, Tyson Price, The Price is Right, X Marks the Spot, Presentus, Joshua Hansen, The Danish Destroyer, Ezekiel Raisibe, The Man from Down Under, Austin R. Grant, Editor Extraordinaire, Donald Schooley, Schooling All of Us, DW to CB, Darren Williams to Carlos Boozer, Patrick Kubal, The Connoisseur, and Robert, Hall of Fame. Guys, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. Subscribe. If you haven't signed up for Prize Picks and you like doing it, if you're a DraftKings type of person, go to Prize Picks and try it out and get free money. Promo code HoopsNerd, and I would appreciate it. And if you want to join the channel and be a part of the show, just hit join right there. All right, guys, I will talk to you next time.